What is up, NFL fans? It's your boy, Kevin Phillip Fox here with another episode of the Legit Football NFL podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your computer screens. Do not adjust your TV screens. There will be a face in just a moment who you have not seen for weeks. It's not a mistake. It's not a typo. He's really here in the flesh from Australia, Mr. Adrian Revito. Adrian, welcome in. We missed you.
Do I need to reintroduce myself? I feel like
I think so.
Whatever.
Oh, a lot of our listeners are new now, so yeah, go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what's your story.
Should I just turn the Australian up all the way up to like 700?
Yeah, dude, please be very
G'day,
Australian this episode. You guys will learn to appreciate the Australianness about Adrian. No, I'm just kidding. It's very charming.
Yeah, eventually it becomes charming over time.
Right off the bat, you'll appreciate it. 49ers faithful forever, one of our staples in the chat, showing love early. We have a really exciting episode for you today. Last week we had our first ever legit football fantasy football mock draft, which was very fun. Had a lot of members from the Scott Fishbowl League in there. Shout out to those guys. I posted the chat a little late today, Adrian, so we might have some stragglers coming in. We weren't on the ball today starting the show, and by we I mean me, so apologies.
No, I will pretty accurate.
I'll confess, I did buy the NCAA 25 game.
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing. I was very immersed in my my guy. He second season sophomore, won a national championship. So third year, I'm making a push for the Heisman. Okay. I was runner up second year. So I was in the middle of a game and I was like, I can't really save it right now. I'm on kind of a roll. I'll have to join the legit people a hair late. So that's on me.
Look, man, I'm a gamer. I understand.
It's on EA really more than anybody for making actually a great game finally. 49ers faithful forever. I'll say this, the gameplay functions similarly to Madden, and it's a little janky. They're working out the kinks, but so far, I mean, we all miss NCAA football, but we haven't played one since 2014. So I ain't mad. I ain't mad at
That was gonna be my question. Like, how different is it from Madden?
Not different enough for me personally, because I've been playing this exact Madden game since Madden 2019. It's been the same, basically the same game.
Yeah.
For 5 years with little tweaks. There's more game modes and it's more immersive and there's more to do because it's college football, but it's definitely the gameplay is a bit stale compared to, but it's in some ways it's fresh, in some ways it's new, but I look forward to seeing how they work out the kinks. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Mr. Armand in the chat. Great to see Armand, our boy. Biggest Mets fan I've ever met.
I tried to I've been wanting, because I'm a gamer, right?
Yeah,
and
love gaming.
If I spun my thing, you would see I got my controllers here, I got my gaming keyboard. But
nerd.
I just have never been, total nerd. I have never been able to get into Madden. Just never.
Oh, really? Oh, I love Madden.
I don't know, it just feels, I don't know if stilted is the right word. I think that's the right word.
I understand what you mean. I completely understand what you mean. It's kind of, there's like a component of like, yeah, like it's also kind of like a bit like the simulation effect of it is kind of like you're not really simulating. You're kind of like you're trying really hard to like play a game and have all this control, but how can you have all this control when like it's random?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I have to interrupt the stream. I have to. My little man is here and he wants to come say hi. Is that okay?
Let's go. I would love that. Yeah, we're gonna meet Adrian's son really quick. First on pod appearance for Fabian.
He just turned 1, a little dog. And
wow.
And he's
what a cutie.
He's so stunning right now.
He looks just like his dad. Look at him.
Pacino?
Look at him.
Oh, my little dude.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Is he waving?
All right. He's waving, yeah.
What's up, Fabian?
I'm sorry. I had to interrupt he was at the door and I'm like, okay, I'll bring him on just for a second.
Yeah, anyway, what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep a father from hanging out with his son for a second? Hell no.
Seriously, what's going on? Legit football fans for doing that? No. Anyway, sorry, back to football stuff. I feel like that's what it is, and all the cool stuff about football, all those amazing moments that you see where you just it's really hard to recapture that in a game, and I fully understand that it's hard to recapture that. Something like I used to play FIFA a lot, right?
Yeah, FIFA's dope.
And I feel like FIFA captures that version of football or soccer like quite well, whereas Madden never felt that way.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think that it has a way to go in terms of its immersion and its captivatingness, but I think I think a lot of that comes from your imagination. That's kind of weird and kind of like
That's
lame
fair.
and corny of me to say, but like, I always give my players like nicknames and I give them like little stories. Like it's not real, it's not in the game. If it was, it would be better,
Mm.
but that's the little things I do to try to like make it feel more like, I almost feel like I'm playing action figures, and I'm like they all got little stories, you know what I mean? Like it's
I
yeah,
love that.
you gotta bring the juice sometimes, Adrian. They're not always gonna provide it for you,
And
especially in Madden.
you are Kevin Juice Phillip Fox, so
I
that's your
try
middle name.
I try to bring the juice, man. That's you know me, man, and all the players I try to like in football and in fantasy and whatever, they got to bring the juice. That's a rule I have. Bring the juice.
Fan- I'm pretty sure your fantasy team in legit football fantasy, they all got nicknames, or maybe it's
Oh
the
yeah,
new.
I do the nicknames, and people make fun of me. Brian McFadden called it overkill. S- uh,
Yeah,
one of the CEOs, one of the head honchos of legit football called it overkill. I said no, sir. This is the bare.
I can't remember the last compliment I've heard Brian give anyone ever about anything, so I feel
Brian
like it's
is
okay.
he's a savage. He really is,
Yeah.
but he's our savage.
We love him.
Um, Without further ado, we do have some stuff to get into today. Um, Starting with maybe perhaps the biggest news in the NFL right now. It's gonna be. I think this might be the last of slow season, right? I think after this podcast, we'll have training camps. In the blink of an eye, we'll have preseason. Adrian, in a couple weeks, I'll be at the Fantasy Football Expo in
Oh,
Canton,
damn.
Ohio. I know, man. I'm so bummed that you're not going to be making the trip
I
someday.
wish.
Not with a
Oh my God,
1-year-old,
I
but
wish.
someday. Maybe when he's
Yeah,
like
maybe it's like
3
3.
or 4. Yeah. Um, but Brandon Ayuk has requested a trade from the San Francisco 49ers. This coming after a long-standing contract dispute. He's been very vocal about his discontent with the team's decision to pay people around him and not him. He's done the whole social media tour, done the whole scrubbing them from his social media tour. And thank God we have 49ers faithful forever here to give his 2 cents, which is that Brandon Ayuk is not going anywhere. We'll see what
Uh,
happens. Armand, we'll get to the news you talked about in your comment in just a second. But first and foremost, Adrian, is 49ers faithful forever wearing fan goggles, or is Brandon Ayuk truly not going anywhere?
I think, look, we've seen this movie before with Debo Samuel a couple years ago. Exactly the same, trade rumors, unhappy with the contract, and they got it done. I saw something about a couple of their star players. I think it was Kittle, Debo, someone else. They tend to get their contracts done in July and August. So I don't think it's too it's not sounding alarm just yet. But I will say the one thing that was weird. Ayuk went on a podcast. I don't know if you saw this, and you was sort of saying what uniform you were in next year. And he said 49ers, but I don't know, it could be Steelers, could be like he actually named teams, which I thought was notable because that's not something that players normally do. So I think 49 Faithful is right. I think they're going to sign because he's a fantastic player. And the 49ers don't, they keep their good players in the building. So I don't think he'll go anywhere, but I just think it's a little bit more noteworthy than maybe the Debo one last year, a couple years ago.
To be completely honest with you, bro, I'm not a huge fan of modern negotiation tactics. Um, I'm all for expressing individuality. I'm all for being honest and transparent with the media, but there's a certain degree of almost showmanship with a lot of the ways that public negotiations are taking place in today's world. And it's probably smart of the agents to utilize the media as a weapon, to utilize the fans and the, sort of almost play chicken publicly
Mm.
with organizations. Not my style. Very much goes against what I believe in terms of like attitude and sportsmanship and buy-in. I think all that stuff should come first. And I think if you're the right kind of pro, the other stuff falls in line. It's not like they're going to push you around. If you're putting up 100 catches and 1,400 yards, you're going to get the contract. Like don't
Correct.
and if you go show up and play even unhappy, and I understand from the other angle too of like maybe they don't want to play if they don't have a contract due to health reasons or whatever, but you can decide that without doing the media tour. And I called it the Stephon Diggs Scorched Earth tour. He did it last
Yeah.
year, and he I'm not gonna miss that. I'm not gonna
Oh
miss
no.
players who behave in that manner. Like, it's not, to me, it's not being professional. And whatever. That I'm on my soapbox right now. I do apologize to the, because I'm a power to the people
Sing it.
person as well, and I love my self-expression, individuality, this, that, and the third. But I just think there's better and more mature and responsible ways to negotiate than this. I mean, you might not get your way if you do it the right way. Technically, it might not go, or it might not be as fast or as clean as you want it to be. But I think this is a show, and I personally, I would rather change the channel.
Yeah, look, I'll say a couple things. So the first is I know you that feeling you have of Stefan Diggs, that was me with Aaron Rodgers, is like I might miss the production, I might miss the player, but I'm not going to miss the drama that comes in the offseason every single year, even during the season for Rodgers. Um, and on that point, I'm kind of like that's the sort of thing that happens now, right? There's the scrubbing the social media and mentioning little quips here and there. Like you kind of go back 15 years and even 10 years, like this stuff didn't happen. It was sort of like you're on a contract, you're on a contract. And now, and so there's a balance here because it is good that some power has shifted to the
Sure,
players,
I
and
couldn't agree more.
and there's some benefits to that. That they've got some ability. Like they still when they're holding out, they're still getting fined and things like that. But to an extent, they've got a little bit more power to push when they deserve, let's say, a better contract. Um, and and I do understand that they want to get because what happens if he gets injured? What if he drops off a cliff? Like there's other factors that could, with playing out the extra year before you get your new contract,
Right.
factor in. But I look, what I will say is, when you're covering the NFL like we do, like it gets tiresome and it gets repetitive, and it's sort of like, okay, just wake us up either when you traded or got a new contract.
I couldn't agree more, bro. And if I'm the Niners personally, this is kind of a sidebar. This is kind of like off the tangent that I was just on. Like, now okay, because we're talking about it, let's talk about it. If I'm the Niners, there's no way in hell I'd let that man out of my building, especially not given the contract that Deebo Samuel has. Like, with all due respect, I would take Ayuk over Samuel 10 times out of 10.
Oh yeah,
Availability is a big part of it. This type of player Ayuk is I think the direction that modern prototypical NFL wide receiver ones are sort of going in. They're less the bruiser, between the tackles guy that Debo's sort of evolved into, which is impressive, and utility pieces are nice. But I would rather build my offense around a guy who runs routes with the crispness and a guy who gets open and separates the way that Brandon Ayuk does. That is winning football. He's got pretty good hands. He's pretty consistent. Uh, Breakaway speed. We've seen him have some huge plays. So I just don't really think the 49ers playing chicken with Brandon Ayuk is wise when you've already paid Debo, who, in my opinion, is not worth the contract he got.
yeah. You know what though? What I will say is I can't imagine him going anywhere, because if they were going to trade him, these trade rumors have been floating around for how long now, right? They
Yeah.
would have done a pre-draft and gotten something out of it. There's no benefit to the 49ers to trade him now. Short of if he holds out, then that's a different story. Like they're not gonna have him anyway. But how long is that really gonna last?
Yeah. And we talked about sort of the diminishing returns you get on a first round pick like Ricky Pearsall if you don't throw them in right away. And that's something that I'm kind of thinking about, but I wouldn't do that with Ayuk. I would do it with Debo. I would get Debo out of there, give
Totally.
Pearsall a bigger chunk of Debo's looks. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Ron Karras,
What up, man?
good to see you, brother. I want to confirm something with Ron. Did I see a huge announcement from Ron on X today? I want to confirm before I jump the gun and announce this on his behalf, but I think Ron, I'm gonna confirm that he put it on X before and I'm saying X now. Do you hear this?
That's blasphemy.
I'm
Or
changing.
it will forever be Twitter for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there was a huge announcement. Listen to this. Ron, Scott Fishbowl, league mate of mine, great dude. Uh, so I got the news this morning. This is directly from Ron's Twitter. I got the news this morning that I'm clear of cancer. All glory to
Oh,
God.
dude,
Let's go.
that's
That's what I'm.
amazing, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. Happy to hear it. Celebrate with legit football today, man. We're talking about Brandon Ayuk. Ron, leave it in the chat where you think Brandon Ayuk's going to play next year. Armand and 49ers faithful forever are banging the drum that he's staying in SF. I think so too. Um,
Yeah, I'm
Adrian,
with
do you
you.
want to? Yeah, I think we're,
No,
we're all. Yeah, and he's going to get
if
a
I was a
contract,
betting
right?
man, and we know that I'm a betting man,
Oh yeah,
Fortnite is where he's going to be.
he's going to get a contract, right?
Yeah, Steelers.
Bills.
Oh, you would be so happy.
I would be so
Um,
happy. But I would be sad because I've kind of talked myself into the whole um, you know, faceless offense. Like I kind of love the everybody eats philosophy, but Ayuk becomes a Bill. That's 130 targets right there. Like that's your wide receiver one, and it's not even close.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but look, you know what? As someone who follows a team who has the whole, who had the whole faceless kind of committee wide receiver room,
Yeah.
it works and it's nice.
Yeah. Honestly, well, especially for y'all because they're all young and they're all really promising. And I think any one of them could take the leap into being the face of the offense. I mean, I like Reed the best. Reed
Yeah,
and Wicks are my horses personally, but
I love Wicks.
obviously Watson's great and has a lot of potential. It's that damn. See, Watson to me is more like a Debo.
Yeah,
I don't want a guy who's going to play 9
availability.
games. I don't I like. And again, I said this last week, and it's the truth. The football bros and the fantasy bros are going to tell you, "Oh, injury prone's not real. Oh, that's just a myth that people say," and yada yada. Look at the numbers,
Yeah,
man. Some guys
yeah,
just miss game. It's durability, it's toughness. I don't know what to tell you, man. Josh Allen's had a number of significant injuries in his career, and he hasn't missed a game since his rookie season. That's just
yeah. Anyone who says injury prone not being real is like I can understand if they're doing it's like it's not they're not prone to injury, it's their body type and this and like but that's what we're saying. Like they injure easy for whatever reason. And in Christian Watson's case, we were talking about it's his hamstrings are the problem. And sorry, and I said my team with that, if there's any news, if you can't tell I'm a Packers fan.
yeah.
Um
Show him your hat. Your hat's kind of up. Give him a
uh
yeah. That's a clean. I love the all black. I got an all black
yeah,
Bills one too. All black Bills one.
shout out to Mrs. Rivita as a gift for me. Um
Legend.
she's got it easy. Like anytime she wants to get a gift, she just gets something Packers and she knows it's gonna hit.
Same. Yeah, Rox has the same privilege with me as well.
Love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um
Well, anything you want to get to before we talk main topic?
The only thing I will just quickly hit, the Ravens signing Eddie Jackson today that Armand brought up. I think
Yeah,
it's a good signing. He had 6 defensive TDs for the Bears. Very Ravensy kind of player.
he
I
is.
like it. Yeah, I like it. And whenever I think Ravens, even though they're historically, honestly, historically, the last couple of years they've been more offense than defense. I still always think of them as a defensive team. So anytime they sign someone, I'm like, good move.
It's one of those moves where it's like, what's the downside, right? Like, it's not like they gave him a massive contract. Like, he. Do you have the numbers by chance?
I will get it.
And Ron is throwing out the Raiders as a dark horse for Ayuk. I could see it. We also have a comment from Ryan. San Francisco 49ers seem like one of the smartest franchises. They are contenders who don't move a key piece unless they're getting an absolute overpay, which doesn't seem likely. So I think we're all in agreement. It just feels like very reasonable that he'll stay. Um, Adrian and I, the overwhelming sentiment from our segment is enough with the antics, guys.
Yeah.
Let's no.
1 year deal, but I don't have figures.
Yeah, anything less than like 6 or 7 mil, which even that's probably a lot. I doubt it's even that high. Something in that range, like I'm not mad at that for a 1 year
Yeah,
gamble on a former All Pro. Like, go out and it's the Ravens, bro. That they have done some of the best things with defensive backs in the entire NFL.
yeah.
I don't see a world where he doesn't go out and have at least a decent season with them if he even starts next to Kyle Hamilton. Oscar is back. It's so good to see you, Oscar. It's been too
What's up,
long, man.
man?
Anyways, without further ado, Mr. Adrian Revito, we
Oh, he's
have
doing it.
some
Mike got it.
really, really fun stuff on our main topic today. You gonna press the button?
I'm looking for it
You know
so
what?
past it.
There it is. It's beautiful.
Hey, it's been a couple weeks for me. I'm just shaking the rust off. This
You
is training camp for me, baby.
not quite mid-season form yet as a producer, but as a podcaster, you're always in mid-season form, Adrian. You're in
You're too,
postseason form.
you're too sweet.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our favorite episode of the year, one of them at least, because Adrian and I, as you all already know from having watched the show even one time or even tuned in for a split second, we're both degenerate gamblers. And season-long props are one of the most fun and exciting ways to make money, track money, and also lose money. That's also a really fun part of it too, because you're never going to get it perfect. So without further ado, Adrian Revito, why don't you kick us off with some of your favorite? Why don't we do one at a time just for fun, and maybe we talk through why we're taking these respective
I
props.
like that. I'm gonna make a recommendation here though. You and I already have a cold hard 20 on something. I can't remember what it was. I might have written it down. Uh, cold hard another 20 on whoever gets the most correct. We'll have to even out the numbers. So that we all picks our top five, but let's do it. All right. I'm gonna kick it off with my. I'm just looking at the chat. Aman mentioning Kenyon. It's just dropping bombs today. All right. I'm gonna kick it off with my homer one first. So Josh Jacobs is the new running back in the Green Bay's room. He is behind a good offensive line, albeit they have to work some pieces out and who's going to fit where, including their new rookie Morgan. But he's in a run-friendly offense. There's an air threat. So Josh Jacobs was against the most stacked boxes in the NFL last year. And I just think Josh Jacobs is coming back with a bit of a vengeance. So I put 1,200 yard rushing season plus, but I'm going to say 1,300 yards plus. Taking it
What are you doing? Why are you going so high?
because you know what I want to believe. I need to like with a lot of these I've written out some really weird ones. I'm probably going to lose this money, but I look to me his over under was I think, and I did put actual money on it. I'm going to find it. But his over under was like under it was 1,000 I think maybe.
I'll give you
And
just take Vegas's over under. I call your shot. Like give me a how high you're willing to go for fun. But for
that's
the
what this was.
but
That's
for
what
the
this
sake but for the sake of the five bet that we're gonna put actual Australian currency, American currency.
American
How does
currency.
this translate? How does this translate?
We'll
For
go
this
American
for
currency.
the sake of what we're going to be betting, let's go Vegas lines and then call how high you're willing to go. You can do like a Josh Jacobs rushing yards ladder. Sports books offer those.
Love it. All
Right.
right. Well, I'll find out what's the regular season rushing price.
Find out what the payout is for Josh Jacobs plus 1,300 because that feels gaudy. And we're bringing back a word from a couple weeks ago. That's a gaudy bet.
I love it. Why
I
can't
love
I
it too. You're bold for that. You're bold for that, sir. Way to start off the pod sizzling.
Let's look. Let's put it at 1,100 yards. I'm just going to put 1,100 yards as my prop, but I'm going to say he'll go about 1,300.
So you're willing to go up to 13. Okay, so bet the rent on 13 or give me a on 1 to 5 of $1 at 2 a.m. and on a Vegas slot to bet the rent. Where are we at on how confident we are?
On 1,300.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Bet 3/4 of your rent. Save a little bit in case you need to keep your landlord happy.
So yeah, okay, that's fair.
I'm fairly confident.
I love it. Well, one thing I'll say about this podcast is I'm going to expose how long I've been doing seasons because the second these futures got posted, I started throwing money down, but I always did protected plays because a lot of my apps have like fun little protected plays, like Prize Picks, for example. On Friday, they do Flex Friday. They allow you to do a $20 bet that if you place it, if you lose, you get your money back. So,
nice.
yeah. So, but I'm gonna expose how long I've been doing this because I'm gonna pull from the lines when I started because there were some that I was like, well, that's not gonna stay that low, and one of them has been bet into oblivion. I'm talking about my homer pick of the day. When I started this damn future, this was, I made this bet in June. It looks like early June. Dalton Kincaid's receiving touchdowns line was 3.5.
What?
Yeah. Thank you.
Ridiculous.
I got in there very quickly. I got in there, right at the start of it because I said to myself, that line's going up. And it's up to 5.5 now. I will empower the bettors to still take that because I think he'll have 6. And if I were to pull an Adrian and be grossly confident, I'd say 8.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
I can see that.
take your 6.5, take your 5.5 overs, and in the future, get like me and start betting when these first get dropped because they're going to change. Remember, I told you Marvin Harrison Jr.'s was like 999.5. I think it's pushing 11 now. I'm pretty sure.
I think I put some money. I'm looking at my bets over here. Yeah, so I got it at 1,075.
Yeah, so that's just a little general betting tidbit is look at lines right when they open. Like for example, Underdog Fantasy, over under pick'em platform in America, and I'm really exposing the bathrobe here with how many apps I have. Underdog's what I do my best ball in, but I do it responsibly. I have an app that tracks it. I like I said, I'll call the number when I need to, but I'm good right now. But Underdog just posted their lines for week 1. And Josh Allen's passing yards line was like 236.5. And I said, hello, over.
Oh, per game.
No, for week 1. They posted their
Oh,
week 1 lines.
wow.
So I already got in on it, because that's going to go up. They'll bet that up.
Who are they opening against?
Cardinals. I'll be there.
Oh, yeah. 236 for sure. Actually, I got Josh Allen regular season rushing yards at 550, and I was pretty confident about that.
You taking the over on that? Yeah. Is this your second one?
Is what?
Is this your second official submission?
Okay. No, it's not. I'm just saying that's so. What I like to do. This is my let's call it guilty pleasure for lack of a better term. And I've said it on this show before. Is I do a couple season gigantic parlays, like sort of 16, 17 legs. I don't put a whole lot of money on it, but if I win, it's $1 million. And I don't think I'll win, but last season I think out of a 20 leg parlay, I got 16, maybe, right? And there's a couple injuries that ruined me. So yeah, and Josh Allen's rushing yards are one of those.
I like it. I like his rushing yards this year. I'm always nervous because any given point in time, I'm afraid they're gonna dial it back because he's almost 30. They say that every year. Josh Allen needs to run less. He always runs a lot. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But Adrian, why don't you hit us with your second official submission for the gambling degenerate corner?
So, all right. So this I've actually, as I look through mine, they're all pretty. What's the term I can use that I'm allowed to sound a family friendly podcast? Let's just say gutsy for lack of creativity. So, all right. Bijan Robinson. It's another running back one, actually. He had 976 rushing yards last year, 487 passing yards last year. He's got a new coordinator in Zach Robinson. Now, Zach Robinson. So for a little bit of comparison here, the Falcons use 11 personnel, which is 1 tight end, 1 running back, the least in the league last year, and the Rams used it the most in the league last year. The Rams also had their feature back in the vast majority of those steps. So they're not he's not a big committee man. Bijan Robinson is the best running back in that room. So this is my call. This is my prop. The highest scrimmage yards for any running back in the league will be Bijan Robinson next year. And I will caveat this to say McCaffrey will absolutely probably take it still, but I'm still going to call my shot. Bijan Robinson, most scrimmage yards for running back.
Okay, sir. So you're looking at Josh Jacobs, 1,100 yards, and Bijan Robinson.
Scrimmage yards. So I'm talking Bijan Robinson will have the most scrimmage.
Yeah. But I was saying for Josh Jacobs, I'm going down the list. So Josh Jacobs, 1,100 rushing. Yeah. And then Bijan Robinson greater than sign every other running back in terms of scrimmage yards in the NFL.
Correct.
I like it. It's also bold, but I think it's just I always have a problem, and this is just personal. I always have a problem with field bets because when you have the field, the odds are just high. Like obviously, the odds are higher. Yeah. That somebody else, but Bijan, if he has as good a chance as anyone, if not, obviously McCaffrey as well. But I see a real legitimate path to what you're saying being true, and I think it's my on the boldness meter from 1 to 10. I'd probably put that at like a 7 because yes, there's McCaffrey. The other one, there's 2 other names, Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs. Any of those guys, I could see because we're talking scrimmage. I could see Jahmyr Gibbs having 700, 800 receiving yards.
Gibbs is fantastic, and he is another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not James Cook though, who was second in the NFL in scrimmage yards last year. I think it's comfortable that those other guys will supplant Cook. I don't think Cook will get up there this year.
I thought that was.
You thought I was going to. I was like, you thought I was going to say
becoming a thing. Yeah. No, this is becoming a thing where I trigger you on the Bills once a week.
No. I'm not gonna debate that. I think Baby Cook will have an excellent year, but I wouldn't put him in that tier. He's like a tier 3 running back for me. Great call, man. Yeah, you're bold. You're bold so far. I'll take a look at mine. I'll try to get a little bit bolder, but all right. I got one for you. Definitely. And this one's, I'll say it's on the more conservative side in terms of the number, but when you hear the player, you'll understand why. How you feel about the New York Giants offense this upcoming season?
Look, I don't feel very good. Neighbors is great.
Yeah.
I no Barkley, no great options at quarterback. I just don't feel great about it.
So, I've always been a big fan of this player, and he's in his first year with the system, and his line is just low enough that how consistent he's been with yards per touches in his career, I think Devin Singletary can easily get over 725.5 rushing yards.
You love yourself some Devin Singletary.
I love Devin Singletary, man. He's great. He's so underrated. He's so perennially underrated. He went to Houston last year. They called it an afterthought, and he took the job from Dameon
What's
Pierce.
what's the line?
725.5 rushing yards.
Just so I can write this down.
I'm comfortable with that. I think he'll get 726. I do. I think I think he'll get 8.
Look,
Special shout out to my dog PK Martini. My pops is in the chat. Welcome in, pops. Barkley and Philly will do better.
Well, that's for sure.
At first I was gonna say I think he might be referring to yours with Bijan, or is he referring to mine with? Because no offense, Dad, but like if you're saying Barkley and Philly will do better than Devin Singletary, then that's like saying LeBron James is a better athlete than me. Congrats, man. You nailed it.
I mean, the jury's still out on that one. We don't know.
You guys haven't seen me play basketball. That's a good point.
To be fair, you've never one-on-one LeBron James. We don't know for sure.
We would have to see. We'd have to see what happens. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So
I'm getting your lead back. 725 is a good line for a lead back. And Singletary's got something in him. Like I don't know what his numbers are. I might look it up. I don't know what his numbers have been. But
take a glance. Take a glance. Look at his yards per carry in Houston last year. He was like, he's a good back. He's so underrated. Oh man.
Well,
not nice, man. I did sprain my ankle recently playing basketball, so not cool, Dad. Kind of a cheap shot, but
disagree. Love it. That's your ankle. I just saw that. That line is 725. The last time he didn't hit that was on the 2020 Bills, and he did hit it the year before. So 4 out of 5 years.
There you go, man. Feels like free money. So
yeah, I get them.
I'm 2 for 2 free money, and Adrian's over here. I'm hitting layups. He's hitting half court shots. So let's see what you got for us next, Adrian. Let it rip.
I'm betting the red. This one is. I feel bold for this one.
You've been bold for all of them. What are you talking about?
This is Super Bowl. Maybe I need to turn this down a little bit.
You're living in the bold here, man. You're all the way in.
All right. You know what I'm going to do?
Actually, it's so your spirit, though.
Because I think that the beauty of props, like, and I will say this as I look up something at the same time. So the beauty of props for me is, a lot of shows will sort of take props and give ones that it's like, yeah, it's a pretty safe bet. Like I feel like if you're listening to a show, you want some outliers, right?
Sure.
So let's look at Sam Laporta, or as Greg Olson will call him, Sam Laporta. He's 875 receiving yards. That is free money. That's a free money. I'm taking that over on 875.
I agree with that. 875 for sure.
I almost was going to go. I was going to go another field bet and say he would be the top tight end. But
in terms of yardage,
but I'll just take the over.
Yeah, take the over, and why don't you give us a number? How high comfortably are you going?
Ooh, actually, all right. What about this? What my original prop was? He'll be the number 1 tight end by at least 70 yards, and I'll stick that in there.
I was just you could just give a number, man. Like there's Travis Kelce, there's Dalton Kincaid, there's George Kittle, there's Mark Andrews. There's Trey McBride. Go off, and if you want to do the Sam Laporta shot call, then and say he'll be the leading tight end by 70 yards, then do it. But I think you could just say Sam Laporta for 1,000 yards, and that's bold. You're still in the bold, man.
That's bold enough. That list you just gave me, Travis Kelce. I'm not saying he's going to drop off the cliff. I'm just saying he is declining slightly.
Can he though, please?
Yes, that would be great. George Kittle and Mark Andrews both going down a little bit. Like they're not on the way up anymore. That's my personal opinion. And I think Kittle spends too much time blocking to be able to top that list. Although with that said, I think he got close to the top, if not the top last year.
Kittle's good. If any of those 49ers, if any of those 49ers pieces miss time, if Ayuk holds out, if any of them gets traded, if any of them get hurt, Kittle's going to be right back in his role where he's got to have 6 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown a game. And Purdy will be the one to get it to him. They have chemistry.
I just think Sam Laporta is like, he came into the league. A tight end is not normally good from year one. It's one of those positions where it takes time to learn. So I don't think we've seen the best of what we're going to see from him.
Absolutely.
He saw a fantastic year.
It's not an indictment on Laporta. I really, truly agree with you. And I trust me, my best ball draft exposure agrees. I draft him as much as I can. He's so good. But he's in a field of 5 tight ends that I think all could be the ones that lead for tight ends. Like, I don't think I think any of those 5, bro. I really do. I think Kelsey, Laporta, Kincaid, Kittle, Andrews. I think any of those 5 could be the number 1 tight end in fantasy, could be the number 1
McBride?
tight end in yards. Say again?
Do you think McBride's in that list or no?
Oh, did I not say McBride? I meant McBride's in there. I've been throwing Kittle in there. I have
Yeah,
Kittle kind of as really the floating tight end 6. I just forgot McBride. Of course, McBride's on that list for sure.
love it.
So, I hear you, and I respect it. It's just like your flag plants. You're like, oh, do you really want your flag plant to be like just good enough? Like, or do you want it to be like,
I want to stab that flag into
inside?
correct.
Yeah,
Like all you can see is just the tip of the flag just going
I'm
in the
with
top
you.
of the wind.
I'm with you. I love it. I absolutely love it. Who am I to tone down your greatness, Adrian? Let me.
Why do you want to
Greatness
constrict
is just
me?
sometimes greatness is just getting out of the way. Um. So let me hit you with another one. I got a lot. I mean, I could go all day, but I'm trying to think of the 5 I want to pin my future American capital on. Um. Ooh. Ooh. There's so many. This is so difficult. I have to look at the updated lines because I'm looking at the old lines and I don't think it's fair to take the old lines. I think I gotta go big or go home. Um. Okay. Where? How are we on Lions passing attack this year? Where you just gassed up Laporta pretty high. Do you think I should follow suit?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mouths. There's mouths to feed, including not just passing yards. They're kind of a loaded offense, but it's hard. You know what's funny? As you ask that question, I'm like, am I as high on Jared Goff as the Lions obviously are? And the answer is no.
Well,
But I still think,
and we've kind of talked about that a lot on this pod because I'm coming around because he's proven it. The question becomes, are there touchdowns to go around with Gibbs and Montgomery being the vultures? Because I'm looking at Jared Goff 27.5 passing touchdowns, and my mouth is watering.
yeah, that's in. What did he hit last year?
Take a look, Adrian. You're our resident statistician when Jimmy's not here. I'm never gonna touch stats.
I always am conscious that my keyboard makes a lot of noise.
Oh
So
no,
he
nobody cares.
30 last year, 29 the previous.
Taking the over. Give me my
Yep.
Goff over 27 and a half. And if you're feeling bold, go up to 29 and a half. But for the sake of our bet, give me 27 and a half.
So Goff 27 plus 27.5.
Yeah, I just feel good about that. I mean, like you said, there's mouths to feed, and he's got the plate of food, and he's got one of those spoons that's bigger than a real spoon, and he's just slopping up touchdowns, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. All right, here's one. Here's a free money one. This one is a free money one because I'm gonna be a little bit more responsible. Garrett Wilson's over under of receiving yards is I got it at 1150. I actually don't know if that's the current one. He hit 1,042 last year with the quarterback play that he had.
Yikes!
Even if Aaron Rodgers goes out, they got Tyrod Taylor as their backup. Like,
Love Tyrod.
unless it's short of a gigantic injury, he's hit that over all day.
You said 1150.
Yeah,
It's a little too high for me.
really.
I know it's reasonable, and I know it's a good prediction. And Armand, I'm sorry, he already did the heart eye emoji, so I'm coming in and raining on his parade. But that's why it's your bet and not mine, right? I just think that the risk of Rodgers not being 100%, and and Brees taking all the work. Armand, don't do the exploding brain emoji, okay? Look, I love Brees Hall. This is more about the weapons, man. How is Garrett Wilson going to get 1,150 yards when Tyler Conklin's going to go for 13?
Oh, stop it.
So,
So
okay,
are you
no.
telling me though, to Rod Tell, let's pretend Aaron Rodgers let's pretend Aaron Rodgers, and I don't put this out in the universe, but snaps his Achilles on the 4th snap of this season.
Why would you say that? That's evil.
But
And you
yeah,
had to
but
say
I'm just
snapped. You made it graphic.
let's live in that world just for a second. I mind
Sure.
you don't have to come along for this ride.
Don't,
Are you
please mute
telling
it.
me that Tyrod Taylor, or Tyrod Taylor, however you want to pronounce it, is not 100 yards better than Zach Wilson?
That's the thing, bro. Like Tyrod Taylor, when he was in Buffalo, he had some great receivers, and I think he might have maybe had 1,000-yard receiver with Sammy Watkins when he was a rookie. I don't think that's his game, bro. He's not like a 350 plus yards passing per game guy. Like his game is like, not turn the ball over, not lose you the game, and hope that your defense can make a play to win it. He's not he's like, if Brock Purdy's a game manager, then Tyrod Taylor's like a game manager light. I love him and I love what he can do, and he's been one of my favorite players I've ever watched play football. He broke the drought. I'll never forget that. He has a lot of love from me. But hyper targeting a wide receiver one is not his game.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. To me, you put him. So you're right. I'm not calling him Brett Favre, but I'm just saying that like you put him
Good.
against Zach Wilson comparatively, and to me, 100 extra yards to your wide receiver one, especially one as talented as Garrett Wilson. And I understand they've added a few pieces, but I just think that 1150. He had 1100 yards in 2022. That's his rookie season, and 1042 last year, and he's had the most stilted, broken offense.
But you're making a bet on his ceiling, though. Like you're making a bet that he achieves his ceiling. Like some of these other bets that we're doing are like, it's more of a middle to floor bet where it's like things just have to go right. In a perfect world where everything goes right for the Jets, that might be what he might be a 1,200 yard receiver.
Disagree.
I respect your shot call. I really, and
I think Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers plus him, and if they get a season of Aaron Rodgers, like to me, his ceiling is sort of 1,100 yards.
But how big of an if is that at this stage of Rodgers' career?
That's very fair.
It is what it is. Ultimately, bro, I respect it so much. I think it's a little like it's not as bold as your other picks, but to me it's bold. To me, it's not a sure thing. You call it free money, not to me.
Nothing but bold takes.
Okay, here we go. I changed my mind. If Armand wins the quarterback job, I will be in on this bet.
1,700 yards.
19. Yeah. 2K. They'll call him Garrett Wilson 2K. I love it, bro. I really do. I love where your head's at. Oh my goodness, these lines are moving rapidly. I'm looking at this. I looked at this morning and these lines were different, bro.
Tell me.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what's making it difficult is like, man, I'm telling you right now, take this as a lesson. If you see a line that you're like, oh, that looks good, I might bet that. Just bet it. Don't think about it because it's going to change. The line's going to change. I'm looking at some of these lines and I'm getting nauseous. Okay, I'll hit you with an easy one.
Tell me.
I'm going to pin. I keep using the metaphor of pin the tail. I just don't think it sounds good. I got to stop saying that. It's kind of a weird.
What's the sentence? And then let me think about it. I'll see if there's an Aussie equivalent.
I'm going to pin my hopes is I think what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an ironclad lock for you. Actually, I might have two. I'll start with the first one. My former offseason darling team, who I still have a lot of love and respect for, but only in the same way that you have a lot of love and respect for your exes who you're not going to be with, where you're like, that was, we had a run, it didn't work out, but we had a run. That's me and the Texans now with Diggs. Like it's too toxic for me. I can't. But Nico Collins is sitting there at 974.5 receiving yards. That's free money. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Break your finger, smash and accept, and thank me later when you triple your money.
How much is it? Sorry?
974.5.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think the reasoning behind Vegas is there's a lot of mouths to feed.
The mouths to feed, sure.
Yeah, and that's I think it's a valid argument.
But he's the best one. He is, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the other two. So I don't. To me, it's not even a conversation. We all know my thoughts on Diggs and his decline. I do think I think if you can find Diggs lines and hit the under, if they're like reasonable, then do that. Tank Dell is great too. Tank Dell is also an excellent wide receiver. There's going to be a little health concern there, a little durability concern there, also a consistency concern because he's kind of a boom bust guy. But Nico Collins, that's a wide receiver one in my opinion. Any day of the week, twice on Sunday. So,
can I tell you, this is going to make you mouth vomit a little bit. The current line and I'm looking at an Australian
sports books.
To be fair, but I think they do align. Generally, Nico Collins is 1,000, Stephon Diggs is 1,025. So Diggs is higher than Nico Collins. What
This
I will
man
say
averaged 42 yards per game his last 11 games as a Bill. That's not
with
4
Josh
games.
Allen.
That's not 2 games. That's not 6 games. That's not 8 games. That's 11 games. He averaged 42 yards a game. Come on.
Title maximum in the chat with the ugly Diggs divorcee.
It's ugly.
Divorcee.
Oh, it's ugly. It's he's my ex 10 Houston's new man. And I'm like, nah. I
It's
don't
like
want to see that guy.
it's the kind of divorce where like Diggs is going for Kevin's dog, even though he doesn't want the dog. It's just make Kevin unhappy. That's what he's like. In the divorce, it's like, I want the dog.
I think I might be the one asking for the dog, but yeah. It's
potentially.
petty. It's getting ugly for sure. All right, Adrian, give me your next one.
All right, I'm gonna piggyback on yours here because I put some money on this. So CJ Stroud's passing yards, regular season passing yards is at 4.275, which is high.
Pretty
I'm
high.
not denying it. I just think I think CJ Stroud, unless everyone is wrong about him, unless everyone is incorrect about what they saw last year, and it's wouldn't be the first time we've seen someone come out of the gates blazing and then drop off a cliff. Like I'm not saying that that's an impossible outcome.
Yeah.
But I think with the weapons he's got, the coaching specifically that they've got, the continuity in players, and if CJ Stroud just delivers even 90% of what he did, he's knocking that out. No worries.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's such a high number.
It is high.
I know in today's NFL, it feels like 4,000 yards is the new 3,000, right? Like that's your base level for an excellent quarterback. Yeah, I'm gonna go the same route as the Garrett Wilson one. I think it's a little bolder than you think it is because of how high
this one I think this one is bold. I think.
Yeah, I'm not knocking you, and I think I would probably agree with you. Like if gun in my head, I had to pick one, I'd probably go over. But you don't have to bet on every line, and that's one that I would just sit out personally, just based on uncertainty but I think the offense as a whole is going to be great, and I think Joe Mixon is probably going to rush for more yards than Singletary and Damian Pierce did. And I think the defense is going to be better. The defense got a lot better, so they won't be in as many shootouts theoretically. But Stroud doesn't turn the ball over. He's really smart and he's a playmaker. And he's got Nico Collins and he's got the corpse of Stephon Diggs and he's got Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz. So there, yeah, okay. I'm coming around talking about it. I'm like, okay, there's enough reason to be optimistic about that. So I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. The thinking behind it, right, is in my gigantic parlay, I pick the teams that I like, and I pick a prop from all of those teams that I liked. And I think when I looked at CJ Stroud, because to be honest, one of the ones that undid me last year is I picked his under, and his over under was like 3,000 or 2.8 or something like that.
Yeah,
he blew that out of the water. And I just thought, you know what? Gun to my head, 4.275. Is he going over under? You're dead if you get it wrong. I'm going.
Yeah, I think I would too. All right, let's get weird. Yes. I'm gonna hit you with a little stat from what do I always say about rookie quarterbacks when it comes to their preferred targets?
Hold on. No. There's don't tell me this because I want to answer the question. When we talk about rookie quarterbacks, you always talk about isolating the variable. Is that what you were going to go with?
Well, that's part of it. What I was just going to say was I think rookie quarterbacks tend to hyper target running backs and tight ends.
Yeah,
I just think that's true. I just
Cole
Kmet's receiving touchdown line is 3.5. Big body, red zone threat. He had multiple games last year where he made catches that he shouldn't have made. He's a good player. And he doesn't have, respectfully, a subpar quarterback throwing him the ball anymore. If we believe in Caleb, I think a bet on Cole Kmet's touchdowns is a bet on Caleb. And Caleb's touchdown passing line is somewhere in the mid-20s. I think it might be like 25.5 or 24.5. I think Cole Kmet 3.5. That's 2 good games for a tight end like him.
Yeah, this one makes me nervous.
It's so low, Adrian. I know I get it, but it's so low.
All right, hold on.
I'll take it. Hey, I'll inherit the risk, man. Clearly, you feel differently.
No, look. I'm looking at his stats. Okay, 6 TDs last year, 7 TDs the previous. That's a bit of a that makes you feel better about it.
Give me my 3.5.
You got it. I'm gonna put it in here.
I'm taking it.
It's look. It's probably gonna make you look fantastic and make me look stupid, but even like wincing at it. But I just
He
feel
might have it
like
by week 8, bro. Like
he
that
could.
feels.
He could. You know what it is? He's gonna. My opinion is that Williams is gonna have chemistry with one or two pieces above every other piece, right? And like a lot of quarterbacks do. And if Odunze is in that mix, he's going to be eating the lion's share. You've got
Yeah.
like, and they've got pieces around. They've got a decent running back. I just don't know about Komet being the red zone man.
We'll see, because that's what the comments are overwhelmingly, Titan Maximum and Armand both pointing out. They're not. It's not the Komet's not the issue. The issue is the other mouths to feed in the red zone. There's so many. That team has weapons, man. Like really, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. Even Armand gave a shout out to Khalil Herbert, but DeAndre Swift. Even like there's Komet is probably fifth or sixth on the pecking order of weapons. I just think rookie quarterbacks, they look for safety blankets, and I think the slot receiver, whoever ends up playing in the slot, would probably be DJ Moore, or actually Keenan Allen's pretty good in the slot too. Damn, that's gonna be an interesting. I'm gonna be paying attention to how that offense lines up. It'll probably be very movable. If I could guess, yeah, I'm sure they would all just kind of be interchangeable. But I think Komet will see. I mean, it's 4 touchdowns, bro. Gabe Davis had that in one playoff game. Don't forget.
Never forget.
Never forget. All right, Adrian, do we got one more each for our official bets, and then we'll get into rapid fire mode?
All right. Yes. Okay. So official bets. So sorry, we've got Garrett Wilson. We did Jacob Bijan. All right. Here's a weird one. I'm gonna get a bit weird on you. 4 kick return TDs last year. I'm putting the over at 8. 7.5 plus.
Damn, why you always go, bro? You always, bro.
Listen
you don't
to
have
me.
to do this. You don't.
No, I do. This is who I am, and you will let me fly. Let me spread my wings.
You always. Oh, I'm gonna put the Panthers in the playoffs. Oh, Josh Jacobs is gonna rush for 1,300 yards. Oh, bro, like you can go halfway.
There's new rules. There's new, but hold on, that's not a big. That is not a big. To go from 4 to 8 in a year where there is no one understands how the kickoff is going to work and the kick return is going to work. I don't think that's that bold. I think that's like that's a little bit milquetoast to be like, hey, if I said 10,
I love that term.
Yeah, so 7. Let's say 7.5 plus.
I'm
sticking by it. I'm sticking to my guns.
It's one of the reasons why you're the GOAT. Honestly, I wouldn't change you for the world, but like, it's almost like in Family Guy when he's like, all right, you got 16, and he's like, hit me, and then he's like, you've got 20, and he's like, hit me, and he's like, 21, and he's like, hit me.
That's exactly where I'm.
That's you, bro. You just can't stop. You're going right for the. But I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
I've got some worse ones, by the way.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, you'll have to hit me with those. That's a weekly thing, by the way. The beautiful thing.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go with my guys, bro. Like, what else are we doing here if we're not, if we're not going for our guys, right? There's a player who I've had an affinity for since before last season, 2 seasons ago, before you were a twinkle in the eye of the legit football gods, when it was just me and McFadden. This is a player I've touted. This is a player I drafted in the Scott Fish poll, and I'm so excited to have him on my team. This is a player that every time I do a Madden franchise, I make sure he's my wide receiver 3 or 4. Rashid Shaheed's receiving touchdown line is 3.5.
Boy.
Over. I can't say that hard enough. Over.
By the way, you've actually got 6 in your list, so you're gonna have to drop one of these.
Read them off to me.
Kincaid 6 TDs. Don't think you're dropping that.
No.
Singletary 725 rushing yards.
Keep.
Goff 27.5 TDs.
You can drop that one.
I thought that's what it might be.
Yeah. So it's probably the riskiest out of all of them.
And then I had
it's kind of funny. One thing I'll say about bets, and it's the case for season longs more than it is for games, but it applies for games too. There's 2 kinds of bets. There's very clearly 2 kinds of bets. I guess there's technically a middle ground, but I'm specifically referring to 2. There's excellent point guard, excellent scorer, high points total. So he might not get it till the 4th, but their average is 32 points. So the chances that they score 29.5 is really high, right? But you're sitting there sweating it until the 4th.
Totally.
Or there's This guy's a backup power forward, and he sometimes gets 4 minutes in the second quarter, and his line is 2.5, and all he has to do is hit a 3.
Yeah, I love that.
Seasons are like that too, where it's like Josh Allen. Oh, he's got to have 11 rushing touchdowns. Okay, well, we're sitting there week 13 or 14 being like, he's got 7. What are we doing here? Are we gonna crap, or are we gonna get off the pot? And then there's the ones like Rashid Shaheed, 3.5 receiving touchdowns. I'm sure there's like some ridiculous Taysom Hill bets. We
For sure.
gotta look at all those. But I like both kinds. I tend to prefer the less sweaty ones because the Komet and the Shaheed ones could be wrapped by week 5.
That's a fair call. But
You know?
you could be sweating them still week 16, and they've got 1 touchdown. You could be sweating it.
But if you're sweating Shaheed scoring 2 touchdowns, or you're sweating Jalen Hurts throwing for 13,
Yeah, it's fair.
I prefer the second one or the first one.
That's fair.
Anyways, let's do rapid fire, bro. Let's flood our listeners with every bet you've made, every bet you like. Like, go crazy, go buck wild.
I've only got 2 left. They're my 2 weird ones because I like to go like a little bit. I like to go away from the over unders. So
You like to stray from God occasionally.
I do. I like to be blasphemous. All right,
Dance
this one.
with the devil.
If we were betting, you would take this all day of the week because I realize this is stupid, but I still think it's going to happen. 3 of these 5 teams won't make the playoffs. Won't. Ravens, Bengals, Saints, Seahawks, Bucks. 3 of those 5 not in the playoffs.
Is that a real sportsbook bet?
No. This is just me. This is my prop.
I like that bet. That's fun.
So it would mean that both the Ravens and Bengals would have to not win the AFC North, and both the Bucks and Saints would have to not win the NFC South, and they'd also have to get no playoff, no wild cards.
Well, it doesn't inherently mean that because one of them could theoretically win it and the rest could lose. So, but that's the nature of the bet, is that you're betting more than likely that one of them wouldn't win it.
Because if either of those happen, all you need is a wild card.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I'd say 3 and 5.
That's a fun one.
I thought that.
Give me
and my other one. This Armand's gonna hate this. By week 8, either Salah or Dable don't have a job.
One of the New Jersey head coaches will be fired by week 8.
Week 8.
I love it. I love the weirdness of it. Respectfully, I hope it's Salah. I am not a fan of his. I don't think he's very good. I mean, maybe for that reason, I should hope that it's not him, because then the Jets will stay in mediocrity. We love dumping on Armand, bro. He's one of our most loyal listeners, and we just crap on. But it's the Jets. What are we gonna do? You expect us not to crap on the Jets? They're everybody's favorite crapping bag.
I agree.
Derrick Henry rushing yards line. As far as I know, he's mad. He's so mad. As far as I know, the rushing yards line on Derrick Henry, 975.5 Titan maximum. Yes, a bit much for a team that has Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson will be taking a lot of those yards. So he's mad. He's mad. We crossed the line, Armand. You deserve better. We got to do like an Armand appreciation episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Armand, submit topics to us to talk about, because we owe you something. Okay? Pick our theme for our next episode. All right, are you ready? I'm just gonna empty the clip on you, and you can tell me. Yeah, rapid fire. Tell me agree or disagree. Okay, these are all lines I've taken.
Go for it.
Jalen Waddle more 5 receiving touchdowns.
Yes.
Leonard Floyd less 9.25 sacks.
Yes.
Latu more 7 sacks.
Oof. No.
Madubuike 9.25 sacks more.
Yep.
Aaron Jones more 724.5 rushing yards.
Yep. 100%.
Josh Allen more 3699.5 passing yards.
3699. Yep.
Dalton Kincaid more 749.5 receiving yards.
All day.
Trevor Lawrence more 21.5 passing touchdowns.
Yes.
Ramondre Stevenson more 4.5 rushing touchdowns.
Yep. This I'm with. I mean,
you really think I'm gonna make some money here?
These are great.
These are all protected regardless. Even if I miss on them, I'll get my money back because it's on Prize Picks. But I use every protected bet on futures. Kyler Murray 20.5 passing touchdowns. I took the over.
Yeah, it's that seems too low, but it's hard. Yes, they're not all going to hit, but yes.
Mike Evans, 1,100 receiving yards.
No. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
yeah, how
I'm
could you bet
sorry.
against Mike Evans, bro? That's a bet against Baker.
And that's the thing is, I love Baker, and I will always love Baker, but I just sometimes I have to be realistic.
All right. Xavier Worthy under 775 receiving yards.
No. That's your wish cast in there.
It
That's a
might
wish
be.
cast.
Curtis Samuel, 575 receiving yards.
Ooh, okay, yeah, take that.
Kyle Pitts, 4.5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Xavier Legette, 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Great. So 2.5 plus.
Yep. Brian Burns, 8.75 sacks.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
James Cook, 3.5 rushing touchdowns.
No, just to trigger you. No. I'm joking.
It's so few. Titan Maximum
that's
here.
actually ridiculous.
Titan Maximum with an excellent point here. The best bet is usually to not bet. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800. Last but certainly not least, we have a request to look up Levis's touchdowns. I'm going to take a glance here if I can find them. On Prize Picks, Levis's touchdowns, 18.5, Mr. Armand. That's a tough one. I don't know if I would stay away from that because I could see him getting benched.
He's him getting benched. Wow.
He's him getting benched. Yeah. Is Tannehill still? It's probably still Tannehill, no?
Yeah, it must be, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Anyways, guys, we did it. We made it through Degenerate Gambler Betting Corner. We'll do a segment on our next episode about defensive betting props and defensive fantasy draft info for Armand. That's a promise. Adrian, make sure you make a note of that. Tannehill's gone. Wow. Yeah, make sure you make a note of that.
And he's gone. So who's their backup?
Wow, he's a free agent. Who is their backup? Did they add somebody? I feel like we might have talked about that. It's been a while.
Mason Rudolph is their back. He's not.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Willis.
Yeah, I feel bad for Malik Willis. I wish he got a real shot somewhere. But anyways, we did it. We wrapped it up. We're all worse off for it. We're all slightly worse of people after engaging in this hour of betting content. We'll do some cleansing, spiritual holy water rituals to start next episode to get off the demons from the gambling. But that being said, I had a blast, and I know Adrian did too. This is right up our alley. Adrian, is there anything you want to say to the good people before you sign off?
Nothing. Just you know what? I'm gonna call out Titan Maximum. He's a loyal listener, but the best bet is not to bet. The best bet is to bet.
The best bet is not to not bet. The best bet is to bet.
Correct. Yeah.
Shout out to Armand.
Who was that kid we had that was like,
dude,
it's like the Chase.
Oh yeah, Chase. Yeah, he was like, we were just chopping it up with him, and he's asking us betting questions, and we're like, oh yeah, like da. And he's like, oh, I'm 12 or something. We were like, oh, maybe don't. Maybe this isn't the. No, this is totally the pod for you. This is a family friendly podcast. We're doing this we're betting candy.
Yeah.
49ers faithful forever. Armand, Ron, Karis, cancer free. Congratulations, Oscar. My pops, PK Martini, everybody in the comments, we love you. We appreciate you all. This has been the Legit Football Degenerate Gambling Corner. I'm Kevin Phillip Fox. He's Adrian Revito, and we are out.